I have seen the outcry. Okay, I've seen the outcry of people saying, Saint, you know, if you're doing invasions, we would love to see invasions that take place in front of Radigan's fog wall against you know, people with terrible names for their builds. We want to see that, and I'm answering those cries that I am hearing, and to be completely honest with you and transparent, I am recording all of these like at once, basically. All right, so I haven't seen or heard anything. There's been no feedback on these videos yet, but I keep starting them off. I keep starting the videos off by saying that, you know, oh, people are asking for it, but no one is, because these videos aren't even published yet. And it's just sort of a funny joke to me. Like, to me, that's a funny thing. Anyway, this is my Ramza build from Final Fantasy Tactics. You guys like Ramza? I see all the comments talking about how Final Fantasy Tactics is your favorite game. You love Ramza, you love Final Fantasy Tactics, and you love to see my Ramza build. And, you know, so I'm happy to bring that to you. You know, to answer those requests, to answer that outcry that I see. You know, I love to do that for you, YouTube. It brings me joy, such immense joy. I really do love this build. The Stone of Garank is such, like, that's the Ramza spell, you know, just throwing rocks. And then true comboing that into Wrath of Gold. Man, there's nothing better, in my opinion. That type of stuff is fun. And then you've got Elden Stars, a spell that nobody uses. No invader uses it. Well, okay. No invader who ever wins uses it. I'll put it that way, I guess. And, okay, even that's not true, but you know what I'm saying. It doesn't get used a lot. And then we've got the Light of Mikola, which I also love. You know, this is a fun build. This is like my white mage build. And I just put it in Ramza clothes. Here's something. Look at this. Limgrave Gankers. My co-invader is a Golem Arrow Great Bow enjoyer. Eyes on the future. We're expecting big things out of him. You know, we're all watching to see what he's cooking. But yeah, you know, the Limgrave Gankers. This is always, you know, this is the type of invasion that you hate when it happens to you, but you like watching other people win them, if that makes sense. You know? Also, I am just noticing, I have to stop my commentary here. I am noticing that as I run around here, I could still see the body of that invader just hanging out. Okay, I went back and I rewatched it. It wasn't his body, it was just a blood stain on a rock. Like, they turned my man into a blood outline on a rock. My man was vaporized like Rorschach at the end of Watchmen. Spoilers. I always come down here, you know. This is, you know, I try and get the gankers to jump in the hole, because that's hilarious, you know. Anytime you can just basically trick them into falling into a hole, they just die instantly, you know, and I love that. But this guy has just sort of paused, like he's afraid of the bats, which I don't really understand, you know, why he would be afraid of the bats. But now he's afraid of Elden Stars, and there he goes into the hole. And we love that. We love to feed the hole hungers for Limgrave Gankers. It's the only thing that hole wants to eat. And we love that. And now, I'm going to be totally honest with you, chat. The YouTube. You're not chat. I mean, you are. Alright, look. comment section. I'm going to be totally honest with you, comment section. I have no idea how you're supposed to fight this Radon sword from the DLC. So I'm just trying to, like, keep this guy busy so that he doesn't press L2. I'm like, if he's more worried about healing than pressing L2, I can stay alive. And then, thankfully, I thought he was gone. I thought he was gone. I thought the rock did him in, so I didn't use the true combo. But then he held up his swords like an absolute doofus and got karate chopped by the Sword of Light. I love this thing. It's so much better than the Sword of Darkness in terms of, like, its Ash of War. Like, I'm going to use it right here. Right? And now I have a buff. Now my holy damage is better. Right? As opposed to with the Sword of Darkness, you have to actually hit them with the Sword of Darkness Ash of War in order to debuff them. And it's one of those things where, like, it's basically a status effect. So if it hits them on a roll, like via latency, you still get the debuff on them. So, like, it at least has that going for it. But the fact that you have to actually land in some capacity that attack versus the Sword of Light, when you use the light Ash of War, you just get that buff, you know? Now you're going to do more holy damage. And it's one of the things that actually works in terms of buffing holy damage, I believe. I tested all this, but it's been a minute, so I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure that that buff does work in PvP. I sent a huge thing to Bandai Namco about the way that holy damage is bugged in PvP and not being applied. Buffs aren't being applied to holy damage in PvP. I made a little video about it when I first made this build. If you go back and you find the very first build video, I think it was for my Ramza build, I go over that in a little bit of detail. And then I went over it in further detail in an email that I sent to Bandai. And they wrote back to me, and, you know, I said, hey, this is a thing. And they said, okay, well, can you, like, show us? And so I sent them video and, like, a breakdown and you know, hey, here's everything that doesn't work. And here's how you can test it and see, and, you know. And so then they tested it, and they confirmed what I wrote to them, and then they sent it to From Software. So hopefully that gets fixed, and if it does, you know, you guys can all say, his Saint fixed holy damage. That's crazy. You know what else is crazy? That host's name. But now he's dead. Rip Bozo. Literally. Speaking of host names, it's Kefka. You have to love to see this, right? We're gonna have a little Final Fantasy showdown between Kefka and Ramza. Of course, first I have to get through, you know, his two phantoms, right? And this is a little bit of the serendipity right here, chat. And I think that you will, enjoy this. This is the type of thing that doesn't happen often, but it happened here, and it worked out, and it was really something. I didn't know where I was at. I just kind of spawned in. I'm supposed to go out of a hole in the wall right there behind me. Instead, I thought I could drop down here, but I can't. I'm not allowed to because I am beyond the boundaries of multiplayer. But they just thought that they never turned around. So they thought that I just dropped down, and now they thought, oh, we're safe. We're free now. So now I just have to wait for them to go up and to that elevator right there. And then once they do that, I can use the Phantom Bloody Finger, and it's going to put me directly on top of the rafters here. Cool, cool, cool. I'm going to tell you right now, don't get too excited about this Kefka cosplay. Unfortunately, we're not going to get a real in-depth look at this build. Alternatively, this build isn't very in-depth. I'm not sure. But we go for the Elden Stars. Now, Kefka shoots the Madness Laser, and I'll allow it, you know, for a Kefka build. Kefka as a Madness build, that's pretty good. I appreciate that. I'm firing off the Elden stars just to try and freak these people out. See if we can get them to roll off the edge there. We have quite a few spells on this build. That's terrifying. Knowing that that guy has gravity well, I have to be careful about that, because that goes far and will drag me right off. But I hit him with the Elden Stars, and we'll see. Oh, got him. Got him. He thought, oh, I'm going to get him with Gravity Well, and I'm going to pull him off the ledge. And I thought, I'm going to get him with Elden Stars and panic him off the ledge. And there you go. My thing worked and his didn't. Here comes Kefka with the Madness Beam again. Big damage on it. Now, this is the only thing we're going to see Kefka do. Which is why I said don't get too excited about, because, I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I don't know what the hell else he could do from right there. You know. But this is a precarious place to be fighting. You know. Then we got the Fire Knight blasting off another Elden Stars. Dodge the laser, hit the heavy attack, and get him off of there. And then we eat the Madness Laser, and then this is bizarre. I don't know what happens here. Madness Laser gets hit with a fireball and just walks off. How do you misjudge that? How do you misjudge that, Kefka? But we got to fight Kefka, so that was pretty funny. This is the build, for those of you who are wondering about Heretic Ramza. Don't come at me for the fashion, because that's spot on. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. You'll notice we don't have 60 Vigor on this build. Instead, I opted to go with the Crimson Amber Medallion from the DLC to get me up to the requisite number of hit points. Nice. You're nice. Thanks for watching. Later, y'all.